Contemporary Art Bubble by Vladimir London. The emperor has no clothes. This emperor is called the Contemporary Art Marketplace, and his court is shouting how beautiful his dress is. Who am I to make such a statement, and what qualifies me to talk on this subject? My name is Vladimir London, and for the last 35 years, I was deeply involved in fine art. I've received traditional, intense, no-nonsense classical art education that hardly exists today in the Western world, graduating as the fine artist and art teacher. I believe in the true quality of fine art working, and my clients and collectors responded with mutual beliefs, sometimes purchasing almost an entire exhibition in the opening evening. My artworks end up in collections of private art lovers in Northern America and Western Europe. Settling down in the UK allowed me to study and reflect on the contemporary art market. My discovery was shocking. Today, the art business is the most profitable, yet completely unregulated market in the world. How did it happen? What led to this situation? We need to make a short excursion into the history of art to see when it all went so wrong. Until the 15th century, fine art had sacral and utilitarian purpose. No artist was producing paintings for the pure aim of being admired as the subject itself. The church was the main and only client able to afford marvelous masterpieces intended to glorify the commissioner and religious faith. It was a status quo up to the time when Italian bankers and republic rulers came into play. With new money came a new agenda for fine art. No longer was art to be sacral, it was liberated to fulfill another meaning, to become an object of admiration, the measure of status. Fine artists obliged with readiness. Before that, no artwork was created because an artist wanted to simply express himself. All works were commissioned, and the client had his say on what and how to paint. The Renaissance brought something new to the art marketplace. Sacral art turned into fine art. It became an object that could be valued accordingly to the fine artist's talent. The value of the artwork stopped being measured by its size, amount of and price of art materials, and time spent by the artist. The art became a commodity fetishism. It was idolized as the object itself. It was worshipped for the power people assigned to it. Art workshops run by professional fine artists, with the help of numerous apprentices, started to produce artworks that could be purchased not only by kings and church officials, but also by the middle class. The demand of those private citizens shaped the fine art market for the next 500 years. Art styles came and went. Fashion was being changed from generation to generation by new consumers. But art managed to stay civilized and fulfill its primary purpose, to be a beautiful object that deserved to be admired, loved, and worshipped. There has always been progress in fine art. New generations of fine artists were coming and competing for the attention of clients. Those who were brave enough to reject old styles and create new ones left many isms in the history of modern art. Impressionist, Cubism, Modernism, Suprematism, and so on. Seeking awareness by any means and making bold and revolutionary statements brought many artists into the spotlight of the media. Somehow, traditional art skills started to be replaced with creativity. After the Second World War, art had entered its contemporary phase. The market ideology was masterminded and financially fueled by those whose intention it was to use contemporary art as Cold War undercover propaganda weapon. Billions of dollars were invested into the promotion of contemporary art. Multiple private foundations became subsidized, funded, and ruled by one governor, the Central Intelligence Agency of the United States federal government. These foundations were, and still are, actively advocating and pushing contemporary art to the public. The main objective of this activity is to destroy traditional ideals of fine art and superimpose new values and morals of life. The main strategy of achieving this goal is brainwashing the public via mass media and cultural events. If they say long enough that a piece of garbage is art, then gradually people will start believing it. If someone buys that garbage for an insane sum of money, then it becomes officially confirmed as the greatest art ever created. The price of artwork was no longer linked to the talents or skills an artist displayed. The price was created by inflated demand, fueled by PR and marketing efforts invested in the promotion of a particular artist. The contemporary art marketplace had shifted the focus of attention from a particular masterpiece to an artist's name. The painting, drawing, or sculpture itself becomes less important as the name of its creator. In the 1970s, various art communities started to form because art didn't matter. Artists' names were it. Art communities competed for the attention of the media. Members of those communities competed between each other. Creativity went into overdrive. It was not enough to make a creative work of art, only the most shocking works stood a chance to be talked about. The capital followed as rich investors recognized an opportunity. Art started to yield the highest return on investment legally possible. This in turn encouraged new waves of young people to join the movement. They wanted a piece of fame and fortune. The fastest way to get it was to become a contemporary fine artist. No education, skills, or previous experience were necessary. Anyone with a pulse was qualified. The number of fine artists exploded. It was reported that there were about 2.3 million professional fine artists in the USA in 2005, according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics. It is about 1.4% of the entire US workforce. In the UK, 60,000 fine arts students graduate each year, and every single one of them wants to be remarkable. But this wish cannot be fulfilled by studying and mastering the traditional skills of fine art. Today, financial success and celebrity status is awarded to an artist with little regard to how skillful he or she is. Creativity and talent are optional. The main enemy in the Cold War was the Soviet Union. However, far greater collateral damage was done to Western Europe. Ex-Soviet states still retain their cultural identity and keep their cultural roots through the ideals of established fine art. These states, to this day, have solid classical fine art education, based on the best traditions of realistic art as it was developed in the time of the old masters. At the same time, the art education of Western Europe was severely hurt by American propaganda. Contemporary artists in Europe were deprived of a conventional fine art education. The vast majority of art students graduate having no classical drawing skills whatsoever. Today, there is only a handful of fine artists around Europe who've developed their skills to the level equal or greater than a mediocre fine artist of the Renaissance. In fact, a new saying has developed. He's not a contemporary artist. He can draw. There is a reason why new artists cannot draw. Their teachers have graduated a decade ago. They are not able to teach what they have not learned from their teachers who graduated 2 decades ago. Instead, they lecture how to be creative. 5 years of such an education can be compressed in the 2-word phrase, express yourself. All they can teach is how to paint polka dots or downward-running multicolor lines. Many centuries of old traditions of fine art that inspired, glorified, and depicted the beauty of life abruptly were replaced by destructive ugliness. The criterion of investing in art by new money was simple. I hate it, I want it. The rest of us were made to believe that if we do not like some masterpieces of contemporary art, then we do not understand it. No one wanted to look stupid. The crowd followed the art market manipulators. In 2008, contemporary art sales estimated around $80 billion a year. From 2006 to 2009, the contemporary art market experienced a growth of 800%, with works by Andy Warhol reaching £48 million, Francis Bacon £57 million, and a one-day sale of Damien Hirst for more than £70 million. The art is admired according to its price. The valuation has no correlation with the art's quality. The price is the objective and the tool at the same time. It blinds art collectors and makes them believe that what is expensive is worth buying. More and more art investors were chasing the new hot name in art. It didn't matter what such artists did. Canned excrements preserved in formaldehyde corpse of animals, or not preserved and therefore rotting corpses, monocolored canvas, or a plastic bag filled with litter. All of these could be called art if someone is prepared to display it. There's no shortage of those whose primary business is to display contemporary art. Today we have 5 times more space occupied by contemporary galleries dedicated to art produced in the last 60 years than for all the museums and traditional galleries displaying fine art collected in the last 4,000 years. Art organizations, societies, contemporary galleries, and artist awards committees popped up like mushrooms after the rain. The vast proportion of art patrons came from great fortunes. Being indirectly ruled by the CIA, they run private museums and collections of art. Those institutions, together with their sponsors, decide and dictate who the good artists in every nomination are. They are controlling what is art today. They influence our opinion. The system of art awards nominations is flawed by default. Art people never vote for an artist who is better than them. Allow this system to develop through several generations of art members, and the quality of awarded art is destined to decline. Every year, millions of people follow the news of who is nominated for the Turner Prize Award in the UK. When the prize is awarded, we could not believe it was not a sick joke. Kim Howells, the culture minister in 2002, commented, "If this is the best British artists can produce, then British art is lost. It is cold, mechanical, conceptual bullshit." The art marketplace is the only place where cornering the market or manipulating it by owning a significant portion of a particular artist's artworks is perfectly legal. The wealthy art collectors, auction houses, gallery owners, and art dealers fix monetary prices for art. The prices on a contemporary art, as on any other commodity, are based on supply and demand. There's no shortage of supply while contemporary artists are still alive. The workshops are up to 150 people strong and are producing masterpieces on an industrial scale. The demand is driven by two human factors: greed and fear. Greed is cultivated. As long as prices are climbing higher, there will be people who want to benefit from this growth. Gallery owners openly admit that they are participating in auction biddings on behalf of their clients. This is done to make sure that the artwork is sold at a higher price. Auction houses play a similar game, ensuring the artwork meets its estimated price. They also lend finances on very generous terms to prospective buyers, thus leveraging their buying capabilities. In addition, auction houses offer a guarantee to the seller when they are prepared to pay estimated price, whether artwork has been sold or not. Should contemporary artists be blamed for the deterioration of the quality of art? The art world is much wider than a circle of artists. It is formed by millions of people who exhibit, market, sell, buy, write, think, and talk about art. Just a handful of artists make a decent living out of their art. So who's making all the money? Savvy investors, auction houses, galleries, university professors teaching the army of upcoming artists, real estate agents lending space for galleries and art studio places, art suppliers, art dealers. There's a big industry feeding off of contemporary art. Is contemporary art a real deal or another bubble destined to burst? Inflated prices will continue to rise as long as art buyers are willing to pay stupid money for stupid artworks. The moment investors and dealers decide a particular artist is not worth the price, this artist is finished. Art critic and former curator Julian Spalding is convinced that the works of artists like Damien Hirst are worthless and investors must sell those toxic assets as soon as possible. There are others like Simon Todd who disagree and insist that the contemporary art market is very strong and still growing. Every bubble in history did burst, so it's not a question of if, it is a question of when. When common sense prevails and rich art collectors see that the emperor has no clothes on, it is all going to collapse. So we might witness a colossal decline in subprime art dealing in our lifetimes. Contemporary art sales have already started to contract, falling by 80% from 2008 to 2009, and are still going down today. So what will happen after contemporary art? Fine art is still in demand, art that people can understand, trust, and admire, art that has been skillfully made with love and ideas. It is surprising how, with so many artists out there, so few of them have the necessary fine art skills to produce such art. Half a millennia before, there were fine artists whom we're now calling the old masters. They were able to create masterpieces no living artist is capable to outperform. In a very short period of time, our education system has been replaced by a school that are practicing an express yourself art curriculum. There are only a few places in the world left where true skills and traditional art techniques still can be learned. Fine art is not lost as long as someone has skills to create artworks that are beautiful and serve the purpose of inspiring and portraying all good things humankind has. It gives a real sense of satisfaction that fine art is very much alive. It is under attack and speculation by contemporary art market manipulators. They are trying to persuade us by immense price tags that only revolting and shocking art is to be called art. It is fated to change. Hundreds of years from now, no one will remember Rotted Animals by Damien Hirst, otherwise known as an outstanding idiocy to the visual arts of the 21st century. Great works of art are still being created in the shadow of the inflated contemporary art bubble. The bubble will go down in history as the embodiment of silly money craziness. Vanishing from our horizon, this bubble will give a space for real quality art that grows from the magnificence of the old masters' traditions. Classical fine art is not dead as long as someone is willing to pass time-proven techniques of drawing on to other fine artists.